Hey, what's up guys? Gons here for the Face Like the Sun YouTube channel. Here's what I think is the cold, hard truth about what's going on. Explained through the words written by Neil Postman in a book he wrote called Amusing Ourselves to Death. The images are drawn by Stuart McMillan in May of 2009, and it shows the contrast between Aldous Huxley, the author of Brave New World, versus George Orwell, the author of 1984. What Orwell feared were those who would ban books. What Huxley feared was that there would be no reason to ban a book, for there would be no one who would want to read one. Orwell feared those who would deprive us of information. Huxley feared those who would give us so much that we would be reduced to passivity and egotism. Orwell feared the truth would be concealed from us. Huxley feared the truth would be drowned in a sea of irrelevance. Orwell feared we would become a captive culture. Huxley feared we would become a trivial culture, preoccupied with some equivalent of the feelies, the orgy-porgy, and the centrifugal bumblepuppy. As Huxley remarked and Brave New World revisited, the civil libertarians and rationalists who are ever on the alert to oppose tyranny failed to take into account man's almost infinite appetite for distractions. In 1984, people are controlled by inflicting pain. In Brave New World, people are controlled by inflicting pleasure. In short, Orwell feared that what we hate will ruin us. Huxley feared that what we love will ruin us. Now, it's easy to see that both of these are true. On one hand, the state and the control mechanisms seem to be operating in a 1984 style of governance. Meanwhile, the culture itself had become a brave new world, and the Trump presidency reflects what the culture has already become. Could this be a deliberate move by the elite to go from a lockdown control mechanism into a more free-flow, open-source style of governance whose demise comes not from lockdown, but from overabundance? I've talked about technology and how it will affect our culture and society for a long time on this channel and in other media that I produce. And the news that came out today that Donald Trump made a deal with a Japanese executive to bring 50,000 jobs back to America, and that he would be investing $50 billion into the United States. I think it's becoming clear that our civilization is now moving into a Brave New World style reality. Now, what this means is that the Huxley line of thinking will become even more of a reality. What Huxley feared was that there would be no reason to ban a book, for there would be no one who would want to read one. Entertainment media consumption these days is huge, not just through movies, but also through video games. That whole industry pretty much explains why no one wants to pick up a book. Everyone's playing video games, and the interaction with devices is how you do your reading to begin with. So there's no reason to pick up a physical book. Huxley feared those who would give us so much information that we would be reduced to passivity and egoism. Did you ever notice when you were growing up, the kids that had the it toys were the ones who became popular and had social influence, but everyone loved him and everybody followed him or her because they had that special toy? That's what would become of a very passive society, very easy to control because of overconsumption. And egotism is defined as the practice of talking and thinking about oneself excessively because of an undue sense of self-importance. Does that define social media today, or what? Huxley feared the truth would be drowned in a sea of irrelevance. How true is this today? As more truth comes out there, the amount of information is overwhelming, and the truth itself gets drowned. Huxley feared we would become a trivial culture preoccupied with some equivalent of the feelies, the orgy-porgy, and the centrifugal bumble puppy. I've made videos about the effect of technology on the future of human sexuality, and to put it in one word, it's disturbing. As Huxley remarked in Brave New World Revisited, the civil libertarians and rationalists who are ever on the alert to oppose tyranny failed to take into account man's almost infinite appetite for distractions. Again, a very true statement. Think about who the civil libertarians and the rationalists are and were throughout what we watched in the election cycle. Those who are ever on the alert to oppose tyranny. That group will fail to take into account man's almost infinite appetite for distractions. In Brave New World, people are controlled by inflicting pleasure, and that is proving to be absolutely true in our civilization. Huxley feared that what we love will ruin us. National pride, worldly things like money, objects, toys, technology. And the reason why I wanted to bring this up in light of the Trump deal with the Japanese mogul is because it appears the programming in Japan has been what a brave new world civilization would look like in light of a Trump presidency. This is a Japanese Donald Trump commercial published on June 15th, 2016. Now keep in mind it's meant to be ridiculous, but while it might have been created with mockery in mind, the fact is this is a great representation of where we might go as the economy booms again, how we would become victims of our abundance. And in terms of a civilization that would accommodate the basic principles of what's described as a mark of the beast, technology would have to be readily available all around the world and easily controlled. So that's just a brief thought on everything going on. It occurred to me that we are seeing a transition from a 1984 style governance to a Brave New World style reality. And that's not to say the 1984 style goes away. It's still there, but it doesn't have the same kind of control or influence civilization-wide as it does with the Brave New World style, where we are drowned by our abundance. Just another thing to think about as we move forward here into what seems like a time of prosperity, which means we have even more responsibility to do the right thing and to walk as the Word of God would have us walk in these end times. Have an awesome day, guys. God bless.